really, really cool. Oh, so good, so nice.
Yeah, really.
And like, I mean, first of all, I don't know the piece. I don't think none of us know the piece. But like, it sounds super cool. And I think like if it's very fresh, you're doing a really good job. Like, I mean, everything sounds pretty cool. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing that I was missing a little bit is the extremes. So you had actually a really nice pianissimo. I was really convinced by that thing. But then when there's this hairpin going up to mezzo forte or forte, I missed the the swing effect of it a little bit. It's very much like an effect-based piece is my impression, and I think you could exaggerate it way more. And just come out of the stage almost with your energy would be really nice. But it's also early morning, so.
But I actually very much agree. That was basically I had like two main points. I thought about the crescendi, especially, but like also the way you start the crescendo and the way you finish the crescendo. That like for me it was a bit too same dynamic, going like up instead of this woof effect of like whoop, and also it changes dynamically sometimes. Like this first fortissimo, basically it starts from fortissimo, but this forzato, you kind of need to know where you go. So even though if it starts from fortissimo, maybe you could start like some level slower to make the biggest effect. But it was also the other point I thought of was the articulation sometimes. That like you have this passage somewhere when they're like two again, or I think it's number 2, like the rehearsal number 2. But like you have two different camps kind of. You have the portato lines, tenuto lines or whatever, and then the accented one. And I know it's pianissimo, but like maybe this could be a bit crispier, like the and then so to kind of to make it a bit more clear. And also, yeah, this extremes, it was kind of also the thing which maybe would add on top. Yeah?
Yeah. Shall we just try again from the top?
Can I already like this accent in the first part for me, the up bow accent? If you could have like way more of, because the first, I think that do, trom, tom, and very often up bow tends to be a bit weaker. And I think if you could almost think like this second accent is stronger, so then it would be equal. Can you try just the first bar? Yeah, maybe almost a bit too much, but that's a good tendency. Could you try one more time?
Can I say one thing? It's just this beginning is like, okay, one of the most powerful tools in quartet is unison, right? And I think you can play the first 4 bars by heart. So maybe you could just like sniff together, da, and then just start like a anthem or something. There's something about the expression or something about the energy that seems a little bit polite. Like, let's start together now. But I think you know when to start and how to start it. So can you try once just by heart and then really have this common energy going? Sounded much bigger already, yeah. I feel like. Yeah.
And I also love the engagement of the middle voice, like the second, like that it was like kind of felt like you also took over the responsibility of starting. And I think, could you try one more time with this conviction again?
But actually this, I don't know like rules in Britain and stuff, but I think actually this break, you can just listen to the room and then you just decide when to start. It doesn't really matter how many beats you wait, I think. It's nice to hear the sound really go out in the room and then you can go extremely low down, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And could you try, just for me, just to experiment this third bar to start a bit softer? Yeah. And I think you have, like, but just don't lose the articulation of the first note, because I think it's very good when you play the A, that is like, you start from the string, which is good. But then try to start maybe tiny bit less, so then this forzato has even more woomph effect. Okay, maybe you could start from the beginning and then continue a bit. Okay, can I just say, like, I think this plays from 1, 2, 3, 4, from the fifth bar is very, like, theatrical almost. That, like, would be nice if, like, for example, your ta-ta-ta could be a bit more outside to the audience. And then all these, no, a bit more like, I don't know, there is something very, like a spring, like, or like some machinery, just like dying or something. So, like, you, and also this ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, that, like, everything is a bit like, where is it coming from? And you suddenly, like, split up so much with your voices, so to kind of suddenly have this, like, individual theatrical energy. Could you try it and be maybe a bit, like, cringier? And kind of, like, look out and maybe, like, being a bit more secretive. Like, to add, I think very often it helps when you add a bit of, like, a theatrical body motion to also express with the music. So could you try from the bar? Also, you're like, to kind of, because, like, it's barely audible, which is great, but then maybe also to kind of show it that, like, it's going from somewhere. Maybe just from bar 4. Oh yeah, I already liked it so much more. And then, like, in number 1, this accent, I think it's just such a big gesture suddenly. You kind of, like, cut this. So if you could have almost like this, like, full finger all the strings and just, like, snap it completely. And then it's this, I think this pause then is, like, a bit more important after. Could you try one more time? That was at least that. Now if you can try even more.
Oh my God, but this was much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it doesn't feel awkward out here. I know it's quite uncomfortable to do this, like, but it comes across really effectively, actually. Yeah. I have, sorry to go back. It's just this beginning is so hard, right? There's something rhythmically that is not really convincing for me. Da 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 da. I feel like you skip the pauses sometimes a little bit. For me, it helps to sniff a lot. Da, 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 da. Then you can't skip your own breath, you know. So maybe you can try. Sorry, from the beginning one more time.
Oh, but it's nice to kind of connect it. So then you have this, like, very solid beginning, and then you have the acting part, and then pizzicato kind of ends there. Very nice. Well, okay, I think maybe the first pause wasn't that successful, but the next ones were really good.
Yeah.
This pizzicato, I don't know, kind of the unity of it would be so.
For me, still the sections are a little bit too connected. Like after the first 4 bars, I feel like the sound is still ringing in the room before you start. I think you can still take a little bit more time, more than you think. And also after this weird, like, confusing place, after your pits, I think then you also kind of move on to the unison again quite fast. Yeah. And I think you have more time than you think. Or do you agree?
Yeah. I also have like one detail, but I didn't see it and also kind of didn't hear it. When, like, some of your glissandos starts from like little accents. So maybe it would be nice to have like a bow on the string contact. So like you don't change the dynamic, but you have this like, so then it's like, so you kind of have the beginning of the note, because I think I didn't truly hear it. That's also why I didn't notice it. And also, we always talk about the glissandos that, for me, they sound a bit lazy, maybe a bit like da. So they kind of speed up a bit throughout. So it's a bit faster in half of the measure, the second half of the measure. That makes sense. So it's not, because when it's like da, which is good, and that's what's written, it sounds a bit not as theatrical as you now present. Okay, so one more time, and then with the sniffs, and maybe a bit more time between the breaks, and then the accents on the... That was really cool. Yeah, I actually noticed this break thing. Maybe in general, like, we don't have to repeat, but like in number 1, there was also the breaks felt a bit short. And I think it makes such a big impression when you dum and you have the sound after, and then when the sound stops, you still have a bit of a break. So then, like, mathematically, at least in my brain, it makes more sense. I really agree with that. With number 2, I still, these accents, to-tum, 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 I wish they were like a bit like drier, maybe. To-tum, to-tum, because they almost sound trum, trum, that I don't hear the lower note sometimes. Or like I hear it, but it's almost like a ornament more than ta-ta, to-tum. And somehow it would be nice maybe to differentiate a bit more this ta-rum, ta-rum, that like it's more different, because for me it sounds like you have basically the same articulation. So could you try from number 2 when the second violoncello plays?
0-1. We were conflicted about whether to do open strings here or not, because he's kind of based the themes on the open strings. But I think we should change the fingering. So we can still try this thing.
But you can also dump it, no? Like dum 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 with the pause, so it doesn't ring, right? I mean, that's more of an interpretation thing, of course, but if he bases everything on open strings, that would make sense. Sorry, and also this when you play the dum dum, I think it's a bit more of like a folky gesture almost. Now it sounded very like micro, dum dum, maybe a bit more of the body swing or something.
I think this thing that loops like I feel like you almost organized it too well in terms of these steps, you know, each time it goes a dynamic up or something. And I think you are very polite in the beginning, oh, we should save ourselves because we can't get too loud because we have to go all the way to fortissimo. But I feel like the fortissimo you reached was not your maximum. That was a little bit my impression. So I was wondering if we can do a little exercise. You just loop this. I know it goes up in register and stuff, but if we just try to loop those two first bars of 2, and then I will yell when you have to go one dynamic up, just so you get a bigger range to work with. So can you just loop this, and then I will let you know when you have to change. I think this 3 Fs was still like, you could categorize it as fortissimo. And I think that's the one you should use when you reach the top. So you do have this really nice like control of dynamics, but I think you should use it more. Yeah, because I felt that the mezzo forte was kind of like, oh, it's not really forte, right? kind of. But I think you can go wilder because you show now that you can go beyond fortissimo. So just use that tool to also have bigger contrasts, I think. Yeah. And then I was also a little concerned 2 before 3. Really nice accents, but you go away so much that you lose the fortissimo effect. I was wondering if you should maybe sustain the notes a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I. Thank you, Kaya. That's what I want to say. Like I also felt that like maybe with the kind of like a meaning of this bar that you're suddenly being united, that you can have a bit more of a, like maybe either like stretch it together and like be very, like the substance of the sound is very constant, because it felt very much like the bell situation, drum, dum, very classical almost. And like there's this kind of trick, especially with the up bows, to kind of think a bit of a crescendo to the next note. By the tip, so it's like da, da, so you have this connection, and then also if you like full hair by the tip, so then the accent is a bit more solid.
So maybe you can try again from 2, thinking about these staircase steps.
And maybe second violin. Sorry, I don't know your names. I think in this context you can be a bit louder with the cello because, yeah, it's just to be more audible and present. Oh, this 2 before 3 was so much nicer.
Yeah.
So cool.
There was, I really liked it too. There was just something about the connection from the last note before 3 to the note in 3. I was wondering, for me it was something with the pacing. I felt like the 4 chords were equally as long. And I was wondering if you try to just stretch just a snippet of the last one. Da, da, and then, yeah. And then you really set the stage for the viola to have the moment.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful playing, by the way. The viola, fantastic solo, great. What I was thinking, like, because I think you've got everything, the ideas, musicality, everything is there, and beautiful sound, vibrato, everything is there. I was just thinking maybe you could take a bit more space. Like, like maybe like straighten up your back suddenly, like put the viola a bit higher, and a bit more bow usage, like just kind of get a bit wilder, because everything sounds so good. So maybe even for the sake of experiment, especially when you play all these shorter notes, they seemed a bit like da-da-da-dum. And I don't, usually when there's like a fortissimo written, I don't want to say because I think you play forte, but maybe it could be tiny bit softer, but like let's play it one more time and keep it as it was, and then you give a bit more. That's my solo. And
so maybe 2 before
2
3?
before 3? Okay.
Yeah, so much cooler.
So cool. Damn.
Yeah, just enjoy it. I think if it was you'd probably like, oh my god, A string! You know?
I'm always so thrilled when that happens.
Yeah, and also especially this super nice glitch you have to this top note. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. I think
So
like
cool.
you can be more courageous about this one, like the and like maybe screw the diminuendo a bit, or like I put it a bit later. Or also like I think that's like a nice way of thinking this 1 bar before 3 to subdivide the last one. So you have da dum 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 pum pum. So then like the timing is a bit more. It was better now, but I think if you like subdivide together, then it's gonna be. Maybe like from the accompaniment, because I got so focused on the fantastic solo, but maybe you can have a bit more of these waves, the hairpins, like when you play the triplets in the first violin and stuff, or like at least a bit more of this, but then like kind of get back to the right dynamics. What was and when you play the harmonics, right? Now we can get there, maybe. It's like a completely different spectrum of sound, and maybe it could also be kind of indicated by, for me it sounds very like a kind of mental, like you can be a bit more out of tempo for a short time. Like so when you play this da, ta, 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 like a bit less certain, because the sound is just so
We
different.
haven't heard this type of sound in this piece yet.
So the pizzicato kind of keeps the pulse throughout the bar, but the harmonics like maybe could be a bit more like searching and hesitant. Also maybe a bit, like it actually projects quite a lot, so maybe a bit more like fluffier sound. You know what I mean? That like it's maybe a bit more bow, so it's not as certain as all the other things you played before. Can you try this 2 bars before 3, we get through, and then sudden change of scenery. Great. Oh, I loved 4. Like, I love that you were like kind of more folky / jazzy with this. I was just thinking with the pizzicatos, the accented ones and not accented ones. Maybe the accented ones could be a bit closer to the bridge, so that the sound is like a bit more like percussive and aggressive in a way, and then it's dong 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 dong, kind of this motion, like, because I think this sound is less resonant, but it's a bit more punchy, and this one is dong 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 dong. So then you can hear this differentiation between the articulations.
Maybe we can try just once only the pizzicati from third bar 4, to really hear how you take over each other and copy each other with the accents. Yeah, of course it's pianissimo, but wait, no, the accented ones are never pianissimo. I think you're a little too polite with accents. Yeah, I think you can do more, as Daniel said, maybe experiment with where you do the pizzicato on the fingerboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again? For me, they sound quite equal. Maybe the accented one is good, but then the second one also sounds a little accentuated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can experiment with that, what feels comfortable, yeah. But it's...
And also, like, yeah, I know that you're doing great with this bridge thing, but then you can also find dynamics in there. And like, because now it's really good, and like I like the accent, but then like try to also search for, like, the pluck is kind of certain dynamic. So then you can, because basically it's like a conversation. There's like, you don't have an accent, and it's mezzo piano, mezzo forte, diminuendo, piano. So then it should be kind of like tone, 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 right? So kind of when you practice, maybe like dissect it, that's the word, like for like different voices, and like focus on this pizzicato and try to create this line. Longer lines. Sorry.
Lines, yeah. Yeah, because they should be a bit more connected also dynamic-wise, as you say. And right now it sounds a little random depending on who plays the voice. Yeah.
But you got the gist, right, with the searching. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we focus on the next?
From 5?
Could you actually play from 5 a bit slower, just for the sake of the... I was a bit confused with the... It's also for me to get to know this music, with the rhythm and pulse. Maybe like... Da, 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 like this. Da, da. So it's tiny bit slower than what you played. Okay. I understood it a bit better now. Thank you, guys. I was just thinking about this forte, that like I don't hear every part in the forte section. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 before 6, because then you all have united forte. Before you have slightly different dynamics, right? And then this forte, I didn't truly hear this da 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 viola second.
I didn't hear that. Da-da, da-da,
Okay.
da-da.
Okay, great. Can we maybe like do that like middle voices play from this forte place to just kind of hear the train going? Yeah, I think viola you should give a bit more on the beginning when there's like very high register on the, not very high, high for second violin register on the beginning, so you're a bit more equal. So then you give a bit more like concrete sound, and then when you get higher and you get lower, kind of opposite. So then like it's more like equalized in a way.
Yeah. I wonder if it's probably a mistake that you don't have a dot on the D flat. It seems a little bit odd that. Oh, you have one. Ah, okay. No, it's funny because I just thought that it sounded a bit like you played da 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 a little bit. I think this should be quite equal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you try one more time? Yeah, very nice. And
No?
no, you go.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking maybe you can grow a little bit those times where you go apart from each other, you know, like for example 2 before 6 leading up to 6, dido, 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 and then you arrive together on 6. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay, shall we pick the other pair of victims now? And okay, great. I was just thinking from the cello that like a bit more accent on the to-ta, to-tum. It's not like it's not there, but like maybe a bit more. The other thing was that you should be da-da-da, 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 da-da, right? Yeah. Because it sounds a bit like da-da-da, 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 da-da. Like this note should be very united. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. So it's a bit more on the longer line. Yeah, I mean the first one was perfect. Did you hear it? Yeah. So then like kind of then it got half, but now you know how it could sound like it was super united.
I was also thinking maybe in the third bar of 6, when you on the cello actually just join in on her long line of 16 notes, maybe you can sneak a tiny bit on the first note every time, just so you join her on the train instead of having like, here I am, here. Yeah. Shall we try to put it together?
Yes. Just one tiny thing when you play the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're the only one with this kind of da-da-da-da-da-da. I think you can have a bit more initiative with these short notes and like maybe a bit bridgier kind of da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, but let's put it together.
Much better.
Very nice.
Way more connected now.
Yeah. I think also this crescendo can be a bit more courageous. Maybe also with a bit of time, I don't know. Like tiny bit by the end, so it's like a bit, sounds a bit bigger. And maybe also your accent and arpeggio can be a bit broader. As maybe the first, like, wait, what's the bar? Like, you know, before you just finish, 2 bars before you would finish, maybe the first 3 chords were fine, but then when you do crescendo to kind of give more space and also more gesture, so it's like, it has more resonance. I also think that's the arpeggio and accent kind of give like drum, like this vibe. That's not crashed to the instrument. It's not like you're crashing into the instrument, but more. Shall we continue?
Yeah. Maybe we can do the same and then go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, just this da 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 da. Can you play it like just 3 strings at the same time, so you don't break? It's just da pff, da pff. Like
single circle mode.
Yeah, this kind of like as big as possible, because also this A string, I think double A string, I think it's supposed to be kind of crashy, and yeah, also like this heaviness of this. Do dum do dum. It could be even more, I think. Yeah, just from the high note, and then you.
I think you can be more like a machine, like. Yeah.
What I think about like when there are these down bows, right? I don't think you should kind of focus on like the expression of them. So then you're not trying to play in rhythm tam tam, but like as much as you, if it's heavy enough, then you can play the next one. Drum drum. Because I kind of feel like you really try to play da 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 tam tam, but then it will be down up. And I think when there's 2 downs and it's accents, and I think you could just drum, drum. So it's not perfectly in tempo, but the expression is there. That's the first step.
Maybe we can also hear the difference between the 2 chords, the 4th and 3rd bar before 7, how you want to play them differently. Can you just try those 2 bars? Somehow, maybe it's the register, but the second one sounds a little less, what to say, less energetic somehow. Can it be even more? Yeah, somehow it should be more extreme, I think, that second bar. Yeah.
But maybe it could come from the changing notes more than from first violin. Yeah. Just that, so you're not like, because I think you're giving it max, but they're also like so much higher. So then like if you give more from the, like the earth. Yeah, dum dum. That was really nice. That was there.
Yeah.
I also think like when you, just about this previous section, I think you really got the sound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 7 before 7.
Yeah.
That was like the, if you remember, like that was like the, for me it was like the perfect like big folky sound, and if you could kind of incorporate that from basically almost from the beginning, from part 2 when you all play together, because I think you got it. Like it was just a matter of warming up to it.
Yeah, maybe we can exercise a little from, yeah, basically where this starts. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 before 7. Maybe we can loop those 2 bars just to really get this motor going, just to see. Nice.
The last one, yes.
Yeah, the last one was really good. It would be so nice if you could catch that from the very first moment. So maybe we should try leading up a little bit.
Also, think like what was getting better and better was like your gesture was also going up, and then like it sounded more dum, dum, because in the beginning it was more like dum, dum, and then when you started to give out a bit more of like a round gesture after the sound, then it was, I think it was like a big difference.
Yeah, somehow you all gave up a little bit on the control and relied more on the motor. Yeah. Maybe it would be interesting to hear maybe from 6, just to see if you can catch it from the, yeah. Oh my God. I love that it's so much more extroverted the way you play now than when you played it the very first time. It's really great. I missed a little bit the effect of the sforzando piano 2 before 7. I know it's very awkward, this up bow that he writes. But what is your strategy here? Is it like, or is it like super a lot of speed, or how do you think you want to do it?
Yeah, I guess a bit more speed so that we're at the heel for the
yeah. Yeah.
But then not having any crescendo in it.
Yeah, true. There's just something. Could you try that again? Just those 2 bars. Yeah, that was somehow better. Did you change something? No, I feel like, yeah, I think there was something about you stayed on the piano for a bit longer. Maybe that was it.
Also, maybe when you get like to the frog, then because I also felt that it's like dum, ba ba ba, like the 60 notes for me are like a tiny step louder because you're at the frog. Yeah. Maybe you can go to like above the index finger, so then like you have a bit more control over the dynamic, so it's not suddenly like da ba 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 ba, but da ba 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 ba. And then maybe more like statement dum dum because it's the last one. So like this one could be actually dum dum dum. Like it's a bit hesitant and heavier. And the next section, I also I love the fact that like you seemed way more open playing it, but like it would be so. I still think like this, even when it starts from fortissimo, like these, I think these waves and all these punches, they could be much more, like the like there is almost like this, like a roller coaster going this, and then because there's always almost one person keeping the dynamic. So even if you drop tiny bit, if the drop is below fortissimo, there's always some kind of layer still playing the right dynamic. And I think in the middle voice, that's always the trickiest because I hear a lot of accents from cello and first violin, but I think you need to give more than they add. So then you're more audible because you basically play middle register all the time. And like if you want to hear these from the middle register, that you kind of need to bridge, full hair, scratch almost sometimes, especially in these kind of loud places. Okay, let's maybe try from same place and sorry.
And no, it's just because we are running out of time a little bit. So maybe we should try to move to the end also. Starting from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe 7 and.
Yeah. Cool. I think there's something about crescendos that we all, when we see a crescendo, we can't really control ourselves. We just do a lot. And I think what is a really good trick is to, when you see the crescendo, just delay it a little bit in your minds, because I think that will make the effect much bigger. Like for example, the one before 10, 3 before 10. If you just do the crescendo slightly later than you think, then the effect will be much bigger up to the fortissimo. And this also counts for the small hairpins throughout the whole piece, I think.
Definitely. You kind of, 2 before 10 is the same story as it was before, to kind of keep to make it maybe a bit more sustained. It also sounded a bit like released, or like I don't know if every one of you did that, but like it sounded a bit more uneven than balance-wise. There's something I miss in like from 10, like I miss a bit of clarity. What's going on in terms of, it's not even like togetherness, but tra ta 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 ta, and like tra ta 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 ta, that they're very clear, these notes. For me, they sounded a bit blurry, and it's basically these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 last bars. That maybe can we try them a bit slower, like yeah, it's actually forte. So.
Yeah, maybe you can somehow give up a little bit more during the second last bar. I was thinking maybe you could play it a bit more sul tasto. The sound was still very present, and maybe it could be like a little bit more like that. Yeah. Again from 10?
Yeah. I was also thinking like maybe a bit, I agree with the sound, but maybe a bit more like left-hand articulation. So we hear the ta 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 ta, and then you can get a bit sloppier in a way. Because like presence, yeah.
Yeah. In tempo?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's 59 now, so I think we have to finish. But good job, amazing.
Yeah.